What if I told you that you could get into real estate and there's one thing that you can do for an entire week for the next 365 days and you will never have to worry about money again?
If you have ever thought about getting into the real estate or you are already in it, look, this is the night you really want to pay attention.
There's one myth that most people have when it comes down to real estate wholesaling, thinking it's illegal. When people are looking for the trick or the hack.
Wait, I'm going to stop the podcast.
Why am I telling somebody to stick to one market?
Because you...
Welcome to the podcast. If you have never heard of us before, my name is Lacedrick. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. I am a real estate wholesaling expert, and I also have here my co-host, Kenneth Williams, who's an expert in business strategy, y'all, of 20 years. So today, what we're going to be talking about is how you can get into real estate, or if you're already in real estate and you want to scale, you want to have consistency, we're going to be breaking down the whole business here tonight and sharing that with you here today, okay? So all right, so I want to get into the conversation so you can understand exactly what real estate wholesaling is, all right? This is a business that I've done over the last 5 years, y'all, and done over $2.5 million in this business and went through the highs, the lows, everything, y'all, and I really want to be able to share that with you here tonight and how you can get started. So by the end of this YouTube video, you'll have a complete game plan on how you can get started. And also you might get some new gems. All right, cool. So what is wholesaling real estate?
Wait, I'm going to stop the podcast. I'm going to stop it right in the middle. I'm going to stop right there. Y'all, he being extremely modest. This guy, if you haven't searched him, I'm telling you, he started from the bottom, had to learn. I'm talking about didn't know anything about real estate, and the gems that he about to drop, we are going over this and learning, what he's going to talk about, learning all the stuff that he's about to give y'all. It's about to be some game. Okay. So I'm just telling you, pull out your pen, pull out your pad, turn your cell phone completely off. You are unavailable for the next hour. You are unavailable for the next hour because you are about to, if you have ever thought about getting into real estate or you are already in it, in the real estate wholesaling, flipping houses or whatever look, this is the night you really want to pay attention. He started from scratch. I'm telling you, and 2 point any million is worth listening to. All right. So I just wanted to say that, man. You being modest and all that. I want the people to know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You've put some real work in. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about this, man. I'm actually doing this podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely. So based on you watching this podcast, you're either somebody that's trying to get into real estate or you're somebody that's in real estate, but you want consistency in your business and you just want more. Listen, if that's you, I would like to invite you to my live masterclass that I'm having this week, where we're going over how you can be consistent in your business, how to get the right leads without cold calling, and most importantly, how to scale to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 months every single month without you having to slave over your business, okay? So listen, if that's you, I want you to go ahead and secure the spot. You can just go ahead and click in the description, or what you can do is you can go to this QR code that you see on the screen, and then from there, you'll have your spot in the masterclass, and I look forward to seeing you there. Let's get back into the conversation. There's one myth, and I got like a whole thing here, but there's one myth that most people have when it comes down to real estate wholesaling, thinking it's illegal. All right,
man.
Here's one thing that I want to tell you here today. If you're thinking that you have to get a real estate license to do real estate, you're mistaken. Okay. If you think that you need millions and millions and thousands of dollars, you're also mistaken. Number 3, if you think you need to be good at sales and be this super salesy individual, you don't. Okay. There's a saying that I actually heard earlier, y'all, and it actually stuck really with me. You do not have to be good to start, but you have to start to be good, in my interpretation, right? So there's a myth saying that, hey, real estate wholesaling is illegal, whatever the case may be. Let's break down what wholesaling is, okay? It's not illegal. It's just you being a middleman and helping a seller sell their property, and literally you're selling it to a buyer, right? You're a middleman. Let me ask you this. Everybody that you have seen today, Uber, Lyft, you've seen so many companies, y'all, that have products and have things that they do. You got drop shipping. How many of the middlemen actually own the product, but they're literally running the world right now?
Amazon,
Amazon.
Alibaba.
Yep.
Come on, I can go on and on.
On and on.
Yeah.
Right. Middlemen control, they literally control everything, y'all, but they own nothing.
Own nothing.
Which means where's the risk at?
Yeah.
If we're like, more people are taking more risk flipping houses and building houses than us flipping contracts.
That's right.
So let's explain what real estate wholesaling is. So real estate wholesaling is essentially you going to get a discounted property, and all you're doing is you're going to go flip the contract that you got sold, or the agreement you got sold. You're basically selling this agreement to an end buyer, right? A person that fix and flips, a person that buy and hold, they buy and rent out, a person that builds properties from the ground up. You're basically being a contractor for them, but you're working for yourself, and you get to determine what happens with this agreement and how much it gets sold for. So if you just asked me just now, hey, so you're telling me that I can go find a property, get it for cheap, and go sell it for more and determine how much I make based on my skill set or just talking to this individual. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely what I said when I first heard about real estate wholesaling is, man, so you're telling me that I got to get this person to say yes, but it's based on my skill set and I get to determine how much I want to make. No more $10, $12, $15 an hour. We're talking about $10,000, $20,000 a pop when you come down to it. In 2024, y'all, we literally grossed over 542,000, and we did like 46 deals, y'all, in 2024. And that was like my very first time, like full-time real estate wholesaling in my first year. And I actually went full-time back in like the end of 2023. But 2024 was when I said, oh, forget it. Like, we're going all in, and did that, y'all. And it was like one of the best choices I made. All right. So that's exactly what real estate wholesaling is essentially you just being a middleman. And all you're doing is owning nothing but controlling everything, because you have a piece of paper signed by this seller that says that they want to sell, and they can't go sell to anybody else, but you get to go sell this contract to this buyer, and then they pay you for having it, right? Example, and I'm gonna have this pop up on the screen. We have a property that you got under contract for $100,000, and you essentially it's worth $200,000, and you're gonna go sell it for $110,000. And when the title company, which is, we're gonna get into that a little bit later, of what a title company is, but they're essentially going to wire you your money. So that buyer is going to wire in $110,000. The seller gets $100,000. You get the $10,000 that's left over. That's exactly what wholesaling is. That was pretty good.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
That's absolutely perfect.
All right, let's go. So when it comes down to who this works for, y'all, if you are somebody who is not afraid to learn something new, somebody who is not afraid to put in work, get your hands dirty, and if you're not afraid to literally get a skill set that's going to make you millions of dollars, then you can do this. But if you're somebody who wants it easy, you want everything handed to you, you don't want to figure anything out, and you literally just want somebody to do the work for you, and you don't do anything, this business is not for you. Okay. Now, when it comes down to wholesaling, y'all, it's not about houses, y'all. It's literally about solving problems.
That's the key.
That other people have.
That's the key.
And this is the reason why you're going to make a lot of money in wholesale.
Man.
Because it's not about selling houses.
If people can actually get that part and being the middleman.
Yeah.
You're literally being paid to solve a problem. You help undecided individuals to decide. Right? And even when they decide, they don't know what to do. And then here you come. I know what to do. put it in my hands.
Yep.
You're helping people to make decisions, and you're helping people to solve a problem. The psychology behind that is that you yourself as an individual, you have to, and this is you actually having your own business. This is you structuring your own entity and what you want to be known for. You don't want to be known as the wholesaler or the middleman. What you want to be known for is I solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to be known for. The issue is I have this home. I'm God forbid. Let me not use me as an example because I don't want to jinx myself. But let's just say you have a divorcee, and there's they need to get rid of their home, or you had a spouse that had another spouse to pass away. That they were looking for somebody to help them. You got tired landlords. You got all of these different people that have problems, and you come along and you can solve them. But what does that say about you? You have to be the individual, and this is real game, y'all. You have to be the individual that's committed to solving the problem.
Yep.
You have to be committed. That means take time to learn the industry. Take time to learn the ins and outs. Take time. You don't need to know everything and all things, but as it pertains to this, what are the solutions pertaining to this, right? If you do that, that will take your game to the next level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the problems that most people have, and the problems that you essentially want to seek out or look out for just in case they come your way. All right. Let's label them out. He just said one. Tired landlords. These are people who have houses.
Yeah, man.
And they have probably many of them, right? 5, 10 houses, and they've had them for a long time. And essentially, they're probably tired of being a landlord, because what do landlords deal with? Taxes, toilets, and tenants, right? And if you know anything about dealing with taxes, toilets, and tenants, you know that there's something that's always going to break. You always got to pay taxes no matter what. And there are tenants that will not pay you. So at the end of the day, you essentially end up being tired of becoming or being a landlord.
Absolutely.
You got divorces, right? We got tax delinquent properties, people who owe taxes on their house that they have not paid. Some of them have passed away. We got, probates. We got so many things. Long story short, I want you to think about this big picture. Think about all of the problems that happen in the world, and then you lay them out, right? They all come back to bills and houses, right? So those are the problems that wholesalers deal with. Now, when it comes down to how you make money, I just shared this with you, is literally you go find the problem, you position yourself to solve it by getting them out of the situation that they're in, right? How I like to think about this in sales is that what we're doing is we're helping somebody get out of their own way, for one. For two, what we're doing is most people are moving away from pain or towards pleasure.
That's right.
So I had a seller that wanted to essentially sell their property, and it wasn't because they had a problem, but it was a good problem.
Right.
The bad problem was the retirement that they had saved up was not enough for them to last throughout the rest of their life, plus travel and all of this. So he was like, all right, I have 8 investment properties. Let me sell one of my properties, and let me sell it quickly at a discount. So when it gets sold there, now I have money to take my wife on vacation for the next 5 years. So we helped this individual sell this house for about $140,000. This one, and then he came back and he was like, hey, I actually wanted to sell you another one. Wow. This was 6 months later. He said, hey, I want to sell you another one. Now, this one was in California, so it was priced, obviously, California price was $600,000.
Yeah.
So end up buying that property right there, $600,000, and literally end up selling that to a buyer because we got it at a really good price. And he ended up making his $600,000. So he's like, hey, now I got $740,000 right here.
Right.
And now that's, every year he can take a trip. Every month he could take a trip.
Absolutely.
Every week he could take a trip if he wanted to, right?
Absolutely.
But these are the problems that you solve. So you got to understand when you're looking at these avatar of individuals, somebody is either moving away from pain or towards pleasure. They're moving away from a problem, tired landlord, tax delinquents, probates, somebody died, whatever the case may be, or inherited a property, to pleasure. They want to get to the end result of what's going to help their situation get better, whether that be money in their bank account, whether that be a better time, whether that be them being feeling better,
Right.
whatever the case may be. These are the problems that you want to look for when it comes down to an avatar of a seller, right?
Yeah.
So
Let me add to that. Can I add to that?
Yeah,
please?
go ahead.
Because, and you're probably going to get to this later, but it's actually you're actually solving the problem two ways.
Yeah.
You're solving the problem for the seller,
Mm-hmm.
and you're reducing the uncertainty for the buyer.
Mm.
So you're working literally solving problems for two sects, sects,
Yep.
or two groups
Yep.
that need you.
That's true. That's true.
So you're handling the problem here,
Yeah.
and you're reducing uncertainty for the buyer, which means the buyer is always looking for a deal.
And what do buyers don't want to do? What is their
They do not want to go out
searching,
looking
Nope.
for a deal.
Nope.
If they could help it, they would have somebody else to do it.
Yep.
And that's where the wholesaler come in.
And this is why it's a bulletproof business, a recession-proof business.
Recession-proof.
Recession-proof.
It really is.
Fireproof.
It really is.
All of it.
And I like that, because what happens is that if you're not connected to sellers who want to sell,
Yep.
you can be connected to buyers who want to buy,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
And if you're connected to both, how can you not
make money?
And how can you not solve problems? How can you not help people? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, you want to be known as the wholesaler, not a wholesaler, but a person that solves the problem.
Yep. Problem solver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's very important. So connecting those two dots is really important, y'all, because you want to understand that, all right, these individuals right here don't want to do something, and I have the ability to do it and the capacity to do it, and you get paid the big bucks to do it, right? Also solving problems. So when it comes down to most people hear this word assignment or double close, okay? So I want to break down both of these things so you can understand this. An assignment is when you essentially take this purchase agreement, and let's just say A to B agreement. This is basically you and this seller, and then you have a B to C agreement, which is going to be an assignment agreement. So you have a purchase agreement right here, A to B, you the seller, and then you have a B to C, this contract that you have, and then you have the assignment. So essentially what you're doing is the agreement that you have with the seller, this buyer is going to assume all of the things that you said you were going to do for this seller, and then you're going to assign them those things. Make sense?
It makes sense to me.
So you're going to assign them, hey, we can purchase your house for this amount. We can do this. We can pay your closing costs. We can make sure you don't have to repair anything. These are the benefits that we bring up as wholesalers, because these sellers don't want to list with a realtor, right? If their property is not in the best shape and a realtor wants them to fix it up, they don't want to list it. They don't want to pay any closing costs. They don't want to essentially repair the property up because they don't have the money to do so, right? So when we think about these things, y'all, you want to make sure that you put yourself in a position of a problem solver. And we have the B to C, which is this assignment agreement that you have with the buyer. So they're assigned, like you're assigning them all of the rights that you have to this purchase agreement. All right.
So when you say B to C, is that business to customer?
No, this B to C is just the letters that we use to transact the deal.
Gotcha.
So A to B is you and the seller, the wholesaler and the seller.
So the A is
the seller. The B is you.
Is me.
Yep.
Right. And I have an agreement with the A.
Yep.
with the seller.
Yep.
I mean, with the seller.
Yep.
And then
B
B is
B to C.
and now B to C.
Exactly. You're going to have the assignment, right?
There you go.
Right.
Okay.
So you have a purchase agreement. You're B,
Right.
and then you're basically the wholesaler or the assigner.
Okay.
And you're assigning
Right.
the agreement and the rights to that agreement to the buyer for a fee.
Yes.
That makes sense?
It makes perfect sense to me.
Cool. So
For the audience out there.
absolutely. That is very important that they know so they can understand
That to
this.
be, we need to make sure that's
So you have two agreements, one purchase agreement and you have an assignment agreement. When you get ready to assign/sell the deal, right? What you want to make sure is you understand these two terms. So let me break it down really simple for you. Acquisitions, and I'm gonna say this later on, so we remember this. Acquisitions, dispositions.
Yes.
Acquisitions, remember the first 5 letters. Acquire, right? Dispositions, dispose. Acquire a deal, dispose of the deal. That's all that's what we call it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now that we understand, for one, what wholesaling is, what you can do and how this is benefiting you, and then 3, how you can position yourself to be the best because you're solving problems. And then also now you understand how wholesaling works. You're assigning the agreement. Assignment is that, y'all. You're assigning the agreement directly to this buyer. Now they have something called double close. So this typically happens, y'all, in states where they do not allow assignments. So you have to double close. And a double close is you basically are owning this property for a certain amount of time and you're essentially selling it to a buyer directly as you're the owner of the property. So
now, do a person actually have to purchase the property as a wholesaler? I need to? So I'm in a state that does not have.
Okay.
So do I need to buy the property or how does that work?
So how this works is simply this. So there's 3 ways.
Okay.
You can, for one, use your own funds.
Okay.
Let's say that's not an option. You don't have to. Don't freak out.
Okay.
Here's number 2. Some states, you have to ask the title company that you're doing business with, and you always want to use a title company. We're going to get to that next. So you have title companies that you can ask, hey, we want to do a double close, but can we use the buyer's funds? So now you don't have to use your money. They can wire in their money right there, and then you can double close using their funds.
Why would the seller, oh, you're talking about the buyer.
The buyer.
So the buyer will
use their funds to close on the deal.
Okay.
And essentially the benefit for them really is they're getting a cheap property.
Getting a cheap property.
So that's the benefit for them. Or number 3, you can use transactional funding.
Okay.
All right, let's break it down.
Break down transactional funding.
I'm going to have a QR code that pops up on here, and it's for a reputable company called doubleclose.com. Okay. Now, there's companies out here or people, right? Let's just say we got Uncle Sam who has $1 million in his bank account. And he says, hey, you can use my $100,000 to buy this property, but I'm going to charge you 1%. So basically, out of my assignment fee, let's just say I'm making $20,000. Instead of me making $20,000, I'm going to make $19,000 because $100,000 house,
right?
1% of that is $1,000.
$1,000,
right?
Yep.
And then from there, you pay them back their money at the closing table, which is the title company is going to take it out of that. So they're basically, it's the same thing. It's almost using a buyer's funds, but a buyer is not really charging you. But this transactional funding company is.
Right.
So they have companies or people who have money that will charge you a fee for using their money to get to the end to the end result. Oh.
It's people that do that?
Yes.
Man, I love it.
The company that I named.
Can I get involved in that?
Right, exactly.
Making money just to use money?
Exactly, right? So that's a whole nother business right there.
Yeah,
so
we'll
have another video for that. All right, so when it comes down to this, y'all, you want to make sure that you understand this very next thing I'm about to say, all right? Realistic numbers and timelines, okay? So you have, and I'm gonna break down 5 things for you: lead, contract, payday, and then realistic numbers and timelines. So once you get a lead that wants to sell, you sign an agreement with them. And then what happens here is you're going to go sell this deal to a buyer, which gets your payday, right? But you have to understand that from what I said from the jump, it has to be at a discount. All right. Which means that if a property is worth $250,000, y'all, you cannot get it under contract for $250,000. That's considered what we call retail price, right? Top of the line price. I'm going to give you a formula, and this is going to help you out here later. I'm gonna give it to you later because we're gonna cover the two types of markets, all right? So you want to make sure that you get it at a discount because this is the other alternative value that we bring in exchange for solving problems. Now, why would a seller essentially sell me their property at a discount? The reason why is because they have a problem, right? Real life problems right here, right? Most people will pay Uber Eats to deliver them food because they don't want to.
Convenience. They don't want to leave.
They don't want to leave.
Yeah. It's all about convenience.
Some people have cars, and when they're going out on a Friday night, they use Uber to take them somewhere because of what? Convenience.
Convenience. All day long.
Man.
Yeah. You have companies that when you call in to pay a bill, they will, if you use your card over the phone, they charge you a 5% convenience.
3 to 5% fee. Convenience. Think about it. It's convenience because you're using your credit card, right? And you're not using your debit card just because you're using credit. Hey, 5%, right?
Yeah.
Making money.
Yeah.
This world is made of solving problems, y'all. But let me just say this. You cannot, and this is how life goes, a little bit deeper than real estate. In life, you cannot have the positive without the negative.
It's the truth.
When we think about effect, there's some of you that are thinking right now, man, I feel like I could absolutely do this. You're looking at the positive side. But what if I can't do a deal though? Now we look at the negative. But you can't get the positive without the negative. You can't have a negative without the positive. That's how life works.
Absolutely.
Same thing with real estate wholesaling. The reason why we are a bulletproof business, what do we say? A recession-proof business. The reason why is because there's problems that need to be solved, and we're here to solve these problems and get people to the end result. Every day somebody changes their mind from I don't want to sell the house to I do want to sell. The reason why is because there's a problem that popped up.
That's right.
There's something that happens. So unfortunately, I have to say this, somebody dies every day. Somebody, loses their job. Nowadays, AI, the new world that we're in, somebody loses their job every day. There's things that happen in life, y'all. Divorces happen, sadly, right? But these are things that happen, and you cannot get the positive without the negative is all I want to say, right? So this is why we are essential in the real estate wholesaling business, because if buyers don't have time to essentially go out and look for properties because they have to keep their contractors busy, right? And they have to keep their contractors busy, but they want to also make sure that their contractors do not run off with their money. They have to be at the project a lot. So that means that they can't sit down at a desk like us, call sellers and have conversations daily with these amount of hours and then still be able to get a deal effectively. It's going to take them a lot longer to get a deal than somebody sitting at their desk for 5 hours at a time, 2 hours at a time, right?
Absolutely.
So this is the value that we bring, and you must understand that as a wholesaler or as a problem solver. So we're not even going to use the word wholesaler anymore. We're just going to say as a problem solver. Problem solving wholesaler. There we go.
New term, new phrase.
Problem solving wholesaler, right? So once you understand the flow of money, y'all, you're like all of this fear that you have, and it disappears because you understand the flow. All right. So number 3, where should you do this? This is a good one.
I love this one.
So you have local wholesaling versus virtual wholesaling. What if I were to tell you that you could do real estate wholesaling from your computer with a phone, internet connection, and all you had to do was literally just do 2 hours a day. And you did not have to step foot into another state whatsoever, and you can sell deals there.
Mm-hmm.
My model is the virtual wholesaling model, where you never have to see a property to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally go have somebody take pictures of it.
Absolutely.
And then market it to a buyer,
Mm-hmm.
have them go out to the property and then sell it. So there's pros and cons to both, right? Let's just say local wholesaling, the reason why I don't only locally wholesale, y'all, because this is for me just personally, out of the hundreds of deals that I've done, I'm in Dallas, Texas. I've only literally done, I would say 5 deals in my backyard.
Wow. That's big.
5 years. Everywhere, like it's weird to say this, but I was more confident selling deals outside of where I was than where I was.
Yeah.
Weird, super weird. I don't know. It's backwards, right?
Yeah.
But local wholesaling, y'all, there is levels to it, right? Meaning marketing strategies, and we'll get into that. But local wholesaling, y'all, you can wholesale in your backyard, right? Texas, I'm in Texas. And when it comes down to Texas, y'all, you must understand that we are a competitive market. We are the #1 state for wholesaling right now.
Wow.
Right? Texas is one of the biggest markets there is for wholesaling. Yep. And Houston is right. And Houston is #1, and then Dallas, and so on and so forth, right? You know, by the way, I'm gonna just do y'all a favor, y'all, so y'all will know where all of the good areas and bad areas is. This podcast is actually sponsored by Certified Closers, y'all. So what we're going to do is share with you something called our market data sheet, and you can have this for free so you can understand the areas that are great to the areas that are not so good, right?
Boom.
So when it comes down to these markets, y'all, you must understand that local wholesaling, you can do it locally, but you're going to be confined to one area, right? You can go to the property and see it. You can go to meet the seller, but like, I want to think about how is this scalable? Me going to somebody's house, I'm taking an hour, 2 hours every day, depending on how much of a talker they are, right? Versus doing this virtually, having a 10, 15-minute conversation with a seller, maybe even an hour, right? But I won't have to drive place to place to place to place. I could hang up the phone, call, have a conversation, and I do it that way.
Right.
So that has something to do with marketing. So virtual wholesaling is simply, y'all, you doing this virtually, and a lot of people struggle with this. Let me solve your struggle. You're probably thinking simply this: hey, when it comes to virtual wholesaling, do I have to see the property? No, you don't. All you need is pictures of the property, and you need to be able to market the property to the buyer, right? So when it comes down to virtual wholesaling, you can do it. You can do it anywhere in the world, in the state, in the country. Reason being is because you have people out here that you can hire, or you can partner with, or you can pre-market the deal to your buyer and say, hey, if you want first dibs on this deal, you can literally go out and see the property and take pictures for me in exchange for making an offer on the deal. And literally, if you don't like the deal, then hey, no harm, no foul. You got first dibs to our deal, and we got the pictures instead. So that's a free way that you can literally go out and get pictures of a property, and literally you can just go market it to buyers without having pictures. So that's one thing that you can absolutely do. The next thing that we have, y'all, is why nationwide kills beginners. You don't want to go nationwide, y'all. One encouragement for you is to stay in one area. You're still virtual. You can choose. I'm in Texas. I can go to Oklahoma. I can go to Ohio. I can go to Tennessee, but you're still virtual. The thing is you want to choose one market, right? I'm going to ask my co-host a question, because we mentor a lot of people who get into business for the first time, and they try to do all of these things. Let me ask you this. Why is it good? Why am I telling somebody to stick to one market?
Because you want to stick to a market that forgives mistakes.
Yep.
Number one. And typically, you don't want to overload. I tell people this even in business relating to other industries: master where you are, master the market.
Yep.
If I can tell you more about your market than you can, that and I'm not even in your market, then you're not really ready to even do anything outside of that market.
Right.
Because that market will teach you how to do certain things. And granted, every market has its own set of issues and troubles and problems.
Yep.
But for sure, I would always say you want to master where you are because you learn. But you always want to pick a market, honestly, that will forgive, especially beginners.
Yeah.
Beginners, you want to pick a market that's beginner friendly.
Yeah.
And that's dealing with margins and understanding how to do certain things.
Yeah.
You want to find a market that do that. And there are markets.
I'm about to break that down.
I already know you are.
Absolutely. So there's two markets that you want to understand, y'all. You have fix and flip markets,
Mm-hmm.
and you have rental neighborhoods, rental markets, right? I want you to think about it this way. Where are places that most people move to with their families? Texas, California, Florida, these types of places, right? And then I want you to think about, hey, where are the not so good areas that like most people move away from? I hate to say this. Don't get on me, people. Ohio, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia, right?
And we love you. We love you.
We love y'all.
We love you.
Most definitely.
The data says y'all blame the data.
Right. Blame the data, not the
compilers.
Exactly. So think about places that most people want to move from, right? Hey, let me make it easy for you. I ain't even gonna answer this one. You love this one tool that you use in your business every day. We both use it. And they could easily type in, hey, can you tell them.
Yeah, ChatGPT. All day long.
They could literally go to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you tell me what markets in real estate that are fix and flip markets and what markets are buy and hold markets?
Be my market real estate expert and tell me what markets, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Give it a roll. Tell it what you want it to be.
Yep.
Ask the issue whatever the question is.
Yep.
Follow it up with how you want it to respond to you. Yep. Give me direct information, no fluff. Just give me straight, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
It's going to spit out that output.
Absolutely. Yeah. Y'all should absolutely go watch our ChatGPT podcast that we did. Y'all, super, super amazing. Yeah. All right, cool. So
learn prompting.
Absolutely. If you prompt your ChatGPT, you will do absolutely amazing. So you want to make sure that you understand these two markets, right? A fix and flip market, which is like a Texas, and a buy and hold market, a Ohio, right? For example. So if we're looking at these two markets, I'm gonna break down the difference in which one you typically want to start at. Now I'll tell you this. As long as you get out of your own way and you just make the call, you can get a deal anywhere. You can be successful anywhere, right? But when it comes down to these two markets, Texas, places like Texas, big markets like us, we are high margin markets, lower volume markets, right?
Majorly.
In rental markets, they are lower margin markets, but higher volume markets.
Yes, margins are real thin.
What does that mean?
The margin that means
what is high explain the saying we just said: high volume, low margin, high volume.
So when you talk about margins, you're talking about what your profits are.
Yep.
Bottom line. I mean, if you got, good margins, then that means you're going to make a lot of money. If you got thin margins, that means you're not going to make as much money on it.
Yeah.
Volume has to do with the supply.
Yep.
The supply of homes, right?
How many?
And the beauty about that data is available.
Yep.
You can see what everybody is doing, along those lines, right? Mm-hmm. What is the average margins in this particular area?
Yep.
What are the average, what's the volume like in the state of Texas? What's the volume like in California, Florida?
Yep.
What are the margins like in those areas? So you can see that data.
Yep. Let me tell y'all real quick, just from what I'm seeing right now in real estate wholesaling in my business, in higher higher margin markets like Texas, I'm seeing an average of $22,000 per assignment fee per deal right now, right? Some people were higher, some people were lower, right? But average 22, like in the Texas, y'all, or a major city, you should absolutely be making anywhere between a minimum of 15 to about $30,000 or more, right?
Per assignment.
Per assignment, per house you sell. Okay. So today I actually had a student that had she started with me about 2 months ago, and she running the system, doing it. And essentially what happened was she had three houses fall out of contract because the seller ended up going through some stuff, and then they, problems,
Of
right?
course.
They go through just like anybody, right?
Absolutely.
And she finally came back actually yesterday. Yesterday morning. And she was like, hey, I'm so sorry for ghosting you, this, and that. And what ended up happening was that she actually had 3 deals on the contract. This was a 3-package deal. She was going to make $85,000 on this deal.
Whew.
The lady came back and said, hey, I had some things going through, this, and that. She actually ended up calling the real estate closing attorney that they're using in that state, and end up talking to them first, saying they want to revive everything and literally set up the closing date, everything.
Wow.
And surprised my student, and my student was like, hey, the deal came back.
Wow.
But she wanted to, instead of 3 properties, she wanted to keep one since she's going through it. She wanted to sell 2.
Yes.
So she ended up making $45,000 on this closing.
Wow. Look at that.
I'm like, my gosh, like crazy.
Only in 2026 that we find dollars rolling off our tongue like that.
Yeah.
As if it's nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much you say?
$45,000.
$45,000.
Yep.
One deal.
Yep.
One deal.
Yep.
I think
basically 2 houses, but off one seller. Yeah.
But you hear what I'm saying though? It's like, only in 2026 that's big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's life-changing money for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For others, it's just, okay, it's another deal.
Yeah.
But I think
I get the same feeling every time I close a deal.
it's just like, man, it's such a win.
Yeah.
Because this money did not come because you swindled.
True.
You didn't try to persuade.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yep.
You solved a problem.
Yep.
You got paid for solving a problem and reducing somebody's uncertainty. Man,
absolutely.
I'm sorry. I just keep harping on that. Like, that's big.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's big. How can a person not be blessed by that?
I don't know. When it comes down to you understanding these 2 markets, now you understand, hey, what's a high margin market and a low volume market, and a low volume, high margin. You already know that in a Dallas, Texas, or a Texas, hey, I might not come across a $20,000 deal every single month, maybe every 2 months, or maybe I get 1 a month, but I can't scale to 4 or 5. But what I do is I add on another market to do that when I have the capacity. And this is how you do the 40s, the 50s, the $100,000 months, is because you stack them up together.
Yes.
Right? We combine both markets together, right?
Yeah.
So that should solve your problem with knowing where to go. If you are like, hey, in my brain, I don't want to start in a huge market. I want to start in a market that's smaller. Hey, go to Ohio. Go to a market where they rent out houses. I'll just say this, y'all, for lack of better words, the neighborhoods that are getting gentrified, right? The not so big areas, the bad areas, the places where, most people don't really want to go to. Everybody has one in their city, right? And you know what it is. So think about it in that area and go to those areas, right?
All right. Before you go further, can I jump in here on that? So I always teach this, and I say this all the time, guys, and I really mean this. I say this to my business students that are in my program, my coaching program. The Bible teaches us about these people called the sons of Issachar. And the sons of Issachar were people who were knowledgeable of the times, right? And I tell people all the time, it is very important for you to be knowledgeable of the times.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is get into economics.
Mm-hmm.
Know what the markets are saying right now. When we talk about markets, we're talking about Wall Street. We talk about Dow Jones. We talk about what's spiking, because these indicators will tell you the behavior of people.
Right.
All right. I'm trying to not be too deep without, but I'm trying to just share.
I'm sure the viewer will appreciate it.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because as a person that solves problem, you know that right now, it's debatable between, depending upon your politics. But the numbers say that we are in an inflation.
Yep.
In an inflation, that means things are being, the prices of things are doing this.
Yep. Going up.
Right?
Yep.
If that's the case, you would want to see not only do prices go up, but you want to see people income go up. That's not the way that it is, right?
Right.
So the reason why that's so important is because even in markets like Ohio and those areas, what you will find are people like investors, right? Who have a portfolio of 10, 15, 20 properties.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, they can't hold that anymore, right?
Right.
Or
which creates the supply.
Which creates the supply.
Yep.
Right?
Demand too.
And so now there's a demand for properties from buyers that are looking to buy, but because they don't know the sellers or the investors, you come into play there. So knowing the times that you're in really will help you to understand what markets to play in.
That's true.
Right? I have a person that they have a product, and they're recognizing that there are some markets that they're killing in, right? But then there are some markets where they're not doing too good in.
Right.
Well, I told them, and I'll say this for our viewers, that tells you the behavior of the market that you're in. So it might not work for that product, but the behavior says it'll work for that one, right? So if you go into the market and it's a renter market, right? Well, you might have buyers that are not looking to buy rental properties, to do anything, but there may be some buyers over here.
That's true.
Right?
Yep.
So knowing the times and knowing the markets, how the markets are doing, it will really, really help you take your game to the next level. Now, I don't know if people really think on those terms like that all the time.
Yeah.
But certainly in 2026, that's what you should be doing. Understanding what are the markets doing. Okay, that tells me what the behavior of people are doing. There's even a study, people who actually study these things that say, for instance, I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, there is people who are buying, like the car market. Like people are buying more cars now, right? I'm not saying that's happening in 2026 because they're not buying more cars. They're actually repairing the car that they have. But let's just say they're buying more cars. Then what does that tell you? They have more money. So the market is saying there's more money out here. People are buying again, right? So looking at these products and all these things and, looking at, what the markets are doing, that will absolutely help you to determine, should I go in this particular market or should I go into that particular market?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next thing here, because when you think about fix and flips versus a rental market, fix and flip markets, y'all, speed and your spread, right? You're going to have speed and you're going to make more money in a fix and flip market. Your rental market, it's all about cash flow and making sure that your buyer can actually make money. Quick tip, just to make sure you make money on your deal. Look up what is the 1% rule. And I'll explain it here. The 1% rule is simply this. Whatever purchase price that you're selling your property for, it has to rent out at least 1% of that, right? $100,000 property, y'all, it has to rent out for at least $1,000 a month, right? And that is what's equivalent for some investors when they're in these rental markets.
Absolutely.
So when you get a property under contract, and let's just see, you say you see that it's worth $80,000, right? And you get it under contract for, let's just say 30. Oh, well, hey, can I sell this for 50? Well, what are the rents going for? Is it renting for at least $500 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Is it renting for 1,000? There's a lot of properties out here that they have very low taxes, like $300 taxes a year.
Yeah.
And they literally rent out for $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a place like Ohio is one of those places. Just no. So like, if you want to hop in Ohio, hey, no, go ahead and do it. All right. So you should understand that. And this should also take you to a deeper thinking of like, all right, when it comes down to fix and flip markets, we think about appreciation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When it comes down to buy and hold type of markets, what we think about is cash flow.
That's absolutely right.
Right. So you get to determine like, hey, which one do I want to go for? Right. And it's up to you. There's no right or wrong answer, y'all. I'm in both markets. I've always started out in fix and flip markets. And like eventually I added in the rental markets. And I really like rental markets because you get a lot of leads there and a lot of more people that want to sell.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because there's no $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses out there. There's literally $100,000 houses and below. So if you want to know the range of what a rental market is, y'all, $120,000 and below. And anything that's 120 and up, y'all, like 200,000, 150,000, 250, 300 and up, that's a fix and flip kind of market, right? So that's how you can determine the market right there. So you're not really even picking a city, y'all. You're picking kind of like a buyer profile, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay? All right. So this next thing is going to be really important that you know, because some areas you're not going to be able to see certain information. What certain information are you talking about? When you go to, we use the word comp, but when you go underwrite this deal, and underwrite, let's put it in English, when you go determine how much this property is worth after it's fixed up, and you go look at what properties are selling for similar to your property, which is what we call comps, right? COMPS, comparable sales. What we do, y'all, is some states, they are not, just like you can go on Zillow, right? And you can see how much a property sold for because you put in the sold tab and they say, oh, this property sold for this, right? If you come to Texas and you type that type of property in out here, it's not going to tell you. It's going to tell you, hey, it was listed for this, but it's not going to say, hey, this is what it's sold for.
Right.
So what am I getting at? I'm getting at simply, you should understand what a disclosure state is versus a non-disclosure state. Because these states, y'all, Texas is a state where they don't have to disclose.
That's right.
What public information. So if they don't want to disclose it, they don't have to.
Right.
They don't have to disclose how much a property sold for. As opposed to, you can go literally to a Ohio. They have to disclose that as public information, right? So there's certain stuff that you can see on the internet like that, and or certain things that you can't. So I'm specifically talking about when you go underwrite a deal and determine how much it's worth, and you're looking at other properties that have sold. Places that you can go to determine how much a property is sold for, y'all. I'll give you some free sources right now. When it comes down to non-disclosure states, you can literally go to Redfin. That's the free one. If you want a paid one, I'll put a link up here, y'all. PropStream. PropStream is one. It's like $97 a month, but you can look at as many properties as you want. Another one, y'all, when it comes down to, we just talked about non-disclosures, disclosure states, you can go to Zillow and you can just comp on there all day for free.
Absolutely.
Every day.
And the information is accurate.
Absolutely. Really, really accurate.
Yeah.
So when you think about a non-disclosure or a disclosure state, like, don't be afraid of a non-disclosure state, y'all. I love non-disclosure states. That's all I really wholesaled in, especially starting out in my journey, y'all. I wholesaled only in non-disclosure states. So it's like, hey, everybody else is running away from it. Oh, well, I can't see this or I can't see that, or I'm not sure. You want a quick tip, pro tip. When it comes down to the thing that I named called PropStream, you can underwrite your deal on there and see what properties are sold for. They have something called an MLS tab right there, and they're going to show you a estimated, property. I mean, the estimated price of what it sold for. Y'all, it's literally probably only like $2,000 to maybe $3,000. This is probably like $2,000 or $3,000 off, maybe even $1,000 at most times, right? $2,000 or $3,000 is not going to hurt anything. Take the estimated price that it's sold for, and then go make the offer. All right. So that's simply what you want to do and how you determine it. All right. So here's where you really want what you want to understand. Okay. Number one, you want to understand the 4 departments to wholesaling, right? We have marketing, we have acquisitions, we have dispositions, and then we have transaction coordinating, right? Those are the 4 big things. Marketing, obviously, that's trying to find a seller. You have a marketing strategy, right? There's so many marketing strategies, and we're going to talk about, how you can find these motivated sellers. The reason why I say motivated, y'all, is because they have problems, which means that they're motivated to or like more willing to than anybody else sell their property because they have a problem. All right. So we got marketing, acquisitions, dispositions, and transaction coordinating. Marketing is how you find a seller. Acquisitions is how when you're acquiring a deal, you're closing this sale. Basically, the closing in the sales portion to how you talk to a seller. All right. The disposition side is how you dispose of the deal and go sell it to a buyer, right? And the operations / transaction coordinating side, y'all, is basically how you get this deal from this buyer all the way to the closing table. So even when you get the buyer, the job is not done, y'all. You still must keep up with the title company, follow up with them, keep up with the buyer, make sure that the seller is okay and they're good. And just to keep it simple, y'all, when you contract a deal with a seller, follow up with them every week, even if you don't have an update. When you contract a deal with a buyer, make sure that they can still close on the date that they said they can close. You want to collect earnest money deposit. We'll get into that later. And then the next thing you want to do is follow up with the title company to make sure that they are on their P's and Q's. Yes, everybody has a role to play, but you as well as I know is that nobody is going to value your business like you value your business.
Absolutely.
Right? So even though you're moving upright, you're quick, you're fast, you're good on communication, doesn't mean that everybody else is going to be, which is why you have to position yourself as what?
Absolutely.
Be problem-solving wholesaler. So, hey, this buyer might have a problem with touching base, every week because their communication is weak because they're fixing and flipping houses every day. So maybe they prefer a text every week. Okay, cool. Let's follow up with them every week, and it's your job to keep up with those people. So this is really just kind of like lead management, pipeline management, healthiness in communication, y'all. And it's just something that you want to learn.
Pro tip.
Yep.
Just starting out, get a Google Sheet.
Google Sheet. Yeah.
Get a Google Sheet, man.
Yeah.
And keep your buyers on that sheet.
Yeah.
Keep notes about that buyer on that sheet.
Yep.
Phone number, best phone number, and secondary phone number. Your seller, keep that information, name, email address, phone number, first primary phone number, and a secondary phone number. Keep notes on that seller. And then you want to set up a system where your follow-up, and I hate that word, but I'm using it for the sake, phrase, but I'm using it for the sake of the conversation. But you are literally following up with all of them at least once a week. And you're making sure, as you said, you're making sure everybody's good. It's literally as a problem solver, and I'll tell you how I teach my students, you're a babysitter.
True.
You are absolutely making sure that they're being fed. If they need to be changed, you're changing them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
If there's sometimes you'll be surprised that it would have happened. Hey, I'm really deciding. I don't know if I want to go through with this because something minor, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you as the seller, you as the
problem solver,
you got to problem solve it.
Yep.
And if it's something minor that probably you can help with, or you can refer somebody to something, hey, have you thought about doing X, Y, and Z?
Yep.
You got to be that way, right? So it's being organized. Is and it's as simple as having a Google Sheet, right? You can always keep tabs, right? Sellers, buyers, notes, et cetera, et cetera. You just want to keep good.
There's somebody here that probably said, man, I don't want to babysit anybody. Let me just ask you this and give you a reframe of thinking. Would you babysit $20,000 if you knew you were going to get it in a week? Would you babysit $50,000 if you knew you were going to get it in 30 days, 60 days, maybe even 12 months? Would you babysit it and look after it every single day?
Yes.
You probably would.
Yes, I would.
This is the reason why you make sure that you follow exactly what Kenneth said.
Organize.
So when it comes down to understanding these things, y'all, that's every side to the operation so you can understand it. All right, cool. Number 8, y'all, finding motivated sellers. I love this part. So what does motivated really mean?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has a problem and they're in distress.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need to sell this thing fast. I need to do this fast. If you have ever been in a situation where you had to do something fast and you needed it quick, my men, you needed a haircut. My ladies, you needed a hairdo. You're willing to pay an extra $100 to get in the chair because of what? Convenience. That's a problem you need to solve because you probably got something to do next week or the next day, right? So this is why most people, problem, solution, right? This is why we benefit as wholesalers because we understand that, right?
Find the problem.
That's what motivated really means. The number 2 is distress signals. When we broke down earlier, the signals of distress when it comes down to these sellers, think about all of the problems that happen in the world when it comes down to houses. Hey, people are behind. You got tenants that don't pay. You got
Can't afford it anymore.
Exactly. You can't afford it.
Yeah.
Tired landlord.
Yep.
Divorce.
Yep. That's unfortunate.
Everything that happens in life, the circle of life, y'all, it ends up with a property being sold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you understand the distress signals. The third thing here is you have online leads versus offline leads.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me break this down for you. You want to understand that here's another benefit to why you are a benefit to a buyer in a buyer's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can easily go online to the MLS, to realtors and say, hey, can you send me a deal? Or they can scroll on there. But 9 times out of 10, they want to make sure that the deal is discounted and not overpriced. Typically deals on the MLS, and this is not all deals, right? But a lot of deals on the MLS, which is why you see properties sitting on the market at an all-time high, is simply because properties are overpriced. And it's as simple as that. So they can easily go do that. But your job as a wholesaler is to bring them off-market deals. So you must understand that you must bring them off-market deals, meaning deals that are not on the market. So if you're thinking about going to Zillow and looking at the deals that realtors have posted, then no, you cannot do that. But if you're thinking about going to for sale by owner, now you're talking, hey, just because they have it listed on Zillow, it's still an off-market lead because you can get it cheaper even than what it is they have it listed on Zillow, okay? Yeah. So you understand the difference between online and offline. Offline is the way to go, all right? And here's something that I've learned. Oftentimes what I have found is that you're going to find people that say, hey, here is the hack. Here's the trick. Here is the quickest way.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to always say to anybody that I come across is oftentimes what I've seen is that when people are looking for the trick or the hack to something, they're often taking the long road to something. They're taking the longer road. The reason why is because you're going to run into more problems than you did just doing it the right way anyway.
Absolutely.
There's something that my grandfather always says, and he says, when you do something, do it the right way. There's something that my father-in-law says. It's simply this: trash in, trash out. Right? When it comes down to you doing something, you rather do it the right way the first time so you don't have to double back and
Do it again. I tell my kids that all the time.
all the time.
It's go on and do it right the first time. I'm gonna say it just like that. Go on ahead.
Yep. They're very
Go ahead and do it right the first time. That way you ain't gotta worry about coming back to it.
if you focus on consistency over hacks, you will actually find that you can get results faster than anybody else.
Absolutely.
The reason why is because you're actually willing to put in the work, be consistent on the ugly days, on the nice days, on the days that it does not look so well.
Right.
You're willing to actually take the longer route than
Yeah.
the shortcut.
Yeah. That's gonna put you in the long route anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So if you understand that, you'll understand that consistency beats hacks any day. All right. So here is the next thing that we're going to be targeting, y'all. Talking to sellers. All right.
Yeah. Love this.
This is going to be a highlight that you want to understand. I'm going to just make it very simple and practical for you so you understand. I'm going to talk about 4 things. This is something we covered in our sales video that you probably want to watch, but there's 4 points that I actually want to highlight when you're talking to a seller. Earlier, I said something. I said that it's not about houses. If you know anything about real estate, it's literally sales and marketing. It's not even real estate. It's sales and marketing. When you understand sales and when you understand marketing, you understand that you don't have to talk as much when you're in sales. So it's more so about listening and not selling. So you don't have to sell somebody when they already have a problem that you need to solve. It's really about if you're going to be the person that they choose to solve the problem. Same thing with buyers. All buyers don't want to work with all wholesalers because they don't like all wholesalers.
That's right.
And if a buyer does not like you, know you, or trust you, they're not going to give you their money.
That's right.
Which means that you're not going to make money.
That's right.
Right? So it's like, yeah, they're a buyer, but are they going to be your buyer?
Right.
Right? Yeah, they're a seller, but are they going to be your seller?
That's
right. So you must understand that when you're talking to a seller and you're talking to them about not their house, their problem, your heart posture should simply be, how can I help? How can I add value? How can I move them away from pain and towards pleasure? You want to listen for things that you can absolutely help with, okay? That doesn't mean that, hey, I need to move out in 14 days. Hey, can you give me, and then you go give the money. That's not what that means. It simply means that, hey, I have something in my Rolodex that I can do for you to help you get away from this to this. Simple. So when you're talking to a seller, you want to understand that listen more than you speak.
You know how powerful that is if people actually did that in life?
Yeah.
That is a life principle.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a life principle. If we can take the time to listen before we speak, and then instead of us always having sentences that ends with period or but, have sentences that ends with a question mark.
Yep.
Right? I always teach my students when it comes down to learning how to talk to their customers, especially in sales, you want to ask questions.
Yep.
You don't want to give statements.
True.
And you want to ask questions that's related to the problem. Because most of the time, people don't believe you understand. So when you're asking questions, that signals them they really want to know.
Right.
Right?
Because people just want to feel heard.
Right. They want to feel heard. They want to know that if I'm doing this, that I'm doing this with a person. I already don't want to do it.
Right.
But I'm made to do it. And every problem has a different degree of severity.
Yep.
Every problem has a different degree of intensity. So your job is to find where that pain is.
Yep.
And you do that by asking the question. And what I like to always tell people is this: if you're not asking questions, you're telling lies. because you're saying that you can help something that you don't have any clue about.
Yep.
You're telling somebody you can do something that you have no clue of what they're talking about, right? If you answer their problem, then you have become the solution.
Yep.
But if you're not asking the questions, you have become a part of the problem.
That's exactly what sellers want, because they want you to be able to solve their problem.
That's right.
And not like, it's probably going to be some feedback on this. I don't care. 90% of sales, y'all, is listening.
It's absolutely the truth.
It's listening.
If you're not, and I don't want to harp on it, but I think it bears repeating. If you have not seen our podcast yet on sales, you should definitely go back, because we hit on this. But if you don't understand who you're talking to, not what you're doing, but if you can't understand who you're talking to, you've already lost.
Yep.
Every person in my life that I've sold to, I've taken the time to understand them, because I ask questions regarding them.
Yep.
What would this do for your life if we were able to come in and do X, Y, and Z for you?
Yeah. And sometimes, even what we said earlier, that looks like getting people out of their own way.
Absolutely.
So how do you get them to see their own problem? Because have you ever had somebody, and we've all had this, you're going to have somebody that no matter how many times you say what you can do and what their problem is, until they hear it from themselves and hear their self internalize it and say it, y'all, it's really not going to hit.
Truth.
So a question that I always ask to somebody that has a problem is, hey, understand that you had this going on. Let me just ask you this. If you do keep this property, do you see this getting better or do you see this getting worse?
Magical question.
And when they hear, oh man, I don't think it's going to get any better.
Right.
It's like, now it's set in. You're making them say it instead of you say it. So there's a difference between convincing and persuading. And one is really, you're convincing is doing, like, literally getting somebody to do something that you want them to do for your benefit. And persuading is literally helping somebody get out of their own way. If you can help somebody get out of their own way, y'all, just imagine not only how many solutions you can solve, how much money you can make, how many good deeds you would do.
Absolutely.
Like, help people get out of their own way.
Absolutely.
And you won't have to worry about anything
Absolutely.
ever again.
Absolutely.
All right. So you understand that you must listen. You must understand what a seller wants, and that's to be understood and heard. And then the simple conversation flow is simply this, y'all. You have an introduction, you introducing yourself. Hey, my name is Lacedrick. I'm an investor. Just wanted to see if you have perhaps thought about letting go of 123 Main Street. Oh yeah, I want to sell that, right? Boom. The next thing that we have is motivation. Dig into the reason why they want to sell. Understand this. Stick here for a couple of minutes. Ask them questions about, hey, how long have you owned this? What's going on? Do you see this getting better or do you see this getting worse? Man, how did that make you feel? Right? All of these things matter, y'all, because you want to collect as much information as you can, because when you get there with your offer, y'all, and your offer is going to be discounted because you're solving the problem and the buyer has to make repairs and you have to make money. That's why you did it at a discount, right? Simple is this. You got introduction, you got motivation, understanding where their pain lies. Hey, an opening question that I always like to ask is, hey, let me ask you this. What has you considering the thought of selling this property at this moment, right? Then you can go into asking price. We already know, we need to know how fast they want to sell, 30 days, 60 days, whatever the timeline is, right? Preferably somebody within 30 to 45 days, right? Then you got the condition. Think about a house. You can't start with the top and go to the bottom, because if you started with the roof, then everything, you wouldn't have anything, right? Start with the bottom. You got the foundation. Hey, what kind of foundation is this? If it's flat, like if they literally can't climb, like they can't get under the house, y'all, it's literally a slab. All right. And you can look up the two types of foundations that there is. There's slab and there's pier and beam. Okay. Pier and beam literally sits on something like a block. Like if you ever seen houses sit on blocks, you ever seen houses raised, stuff like that. Houses with basements, automatic pier and beam. That's a pier and beam foundation. Slab, if you ever seen people drilling into the ground,
Yep.
that's a slab, right? You can't, like, the only way to fix it is literally to drill into it and redo it.
Right.
All right. Foundation. Then we have and when we're talking about the ground up, I'll explain all of this. Foundation, and then we're gonna touch on like the 5, what do we call this? The big 6. Foundation, AC. We call this an HVAC system. Some people have it, some people don't. Then you have a furnace, too, just so you know. You have a hot water heater. Want to know how, and when you're asking these things, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all after this. Hot water heater. Then we have the plumbing and electrical, right? Hey, how old is it? You want to know how old is it? If there's any issues with it, is it working? All of that. And then, of course, the roof, right? And then, how it looks. Hey, does this wall need some paint? When's the last time you painted it? When's the last time you updated the countertops in the kitchen? The aesthetic, the cosmetics.
Flooring, all of it.
Yep, flooring, paint, all of these things. So we covered the big 6, right? So you now understand this. Roof, HVAC system, plumbing, electrical, hot water heater, and then we have the furnace, which essentially is like the it's connect, what do we call it? And isn't that connected to like the HVAC system, like outside?
Yep.
Yep. All right, cool. And then of course the cosmetics. So the big 6 plus the cosmetics. That's that. So we got intro, motivation, asking price, you got condition, and then we get the timeline, right? So timeline, how fast do you want to sell, Mr. Seller, Miss Seller? I typically can close in anywhere between 24 to 30 days. Some people hate it, some people love it because they need more time. What's a good timeline for you? Oh, that's a perfect timeline. Awesome. Then we get into deal killers, y'all. Deal killers is anything that's going to prevent the deal from being sold, right? Hey, is there anybody that you have to talk to before committing to an agreement here today? Brother, sister, lawyer, realtor. I'll throw that in there just to make sure, right? Because what you're going to do is something called boxing the objection when you get to the close. Boxing the objection is nothing but calling them out on what they previously said before. Some people like to say, hey, I'm calling them out on their stuff, right? It's simple as that. Hey, Mr. Seller, I know earlier you said you didn't have anything to think about, but now you're telling me that you have to go talk to this person. Let me just ask you this. Was it me? Did I mess something up? Was there something that I did? Oh, no, it wasn't that. Man, well, was there something about the process that you just didn't understand? Oh, man. The last thing there is, y'all, is price. Oh, man. What was it, the price, Mr. Seller, that got you? Yeah, it was the price, right? That's how you box the objection, because now you know exactly what it is. So when you get to these deal killers, y'all, you must understand that you must confirm if there's anybody that they need to talk to, anything that's going to hold them back, anything that they have to do, anything that they need to think about before committing to a sale. All right. And then the last thing is a close. Close the deal. When you get to the close, y'all just make your offer and be quiet. All right. That's the simple workflow to talking to a seller. And understand this, y'all. The biggest thing is those are when we talk about, those are the basics, the introduction, the introduction, the timeline, asking price, condition, the deal killers, and then just making them an offer. That's entry level stuff. The higher level individuals, y'all, focus most of their time on motivation.
That's it.
That's literally it.
For real.
All the other stuff is going to go by so quick. Building rapport throughout the conversation and literally focusing on motivation and listening, not to respond, but listening to understand,
right,
is going to help you get the sale. Because anybody can call them and ask them, hey, how old is your roof? Here's how you beat 99% of your competition right here. Exactly what I just said. Focus on motivation and building rapport and understanding and showing them that you understand them, rather than throwing hey, here's what I can do. I call it to-dos or benefits. Instead of throwing benefits at them, throw in, hey, I completely understand. Man, I just had a seller last week that we dealt with, and they had the exact same problem. Third-party storytelling. Tell stories to your seller that get them to feel understood and make it, and it's relatable, right? This is how you become a high-level wholesaler instead of just somebody who does a deal every other month.
That's what separates them.
That's what separates you from your competition. So if you ever wonder, oh, well, this thing is saturated, it's this, it's that I just gave you the cheat code. And when we talk about hacks, that's the real hack.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So anything you want to add on that?
No, you said that very, very eloquently. I think the only thing that I would say is get to the motivation quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah, get to the pain point, get to the motivation real quick, and then spend time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's the next thing I want to talk about, y'all. Lead management and follow-ups. All right. Now, when it comes down to lead management and follow-ups, y'all, you're going to essentially build a pipeline, right? You're going to build a pipeline, and what's going to happen is you want to know what happens after that first conversation. Hey, you're not just going to not call them back ever again. You are going to want to follow up with this individual and call this individual multiple times, right? So the simple way to put this, y'all, on how you manage your leads is asking yourself two questions. Hey, what happens if they don't pick up the phone? And what happens after they do pick up the phone? Simple as that. And then here's a bonus. How often do I want to follow up with them at this stage? I keep it very simple, y'all. New leads. I always want to keep my new leads bucket empty, right? Well, wouldn't you want like the most amount of new leads that you can absolutely get? Yes. But you typically want to talk to every lead that comes into your new lead pipeline, and you either want to make them an offer, or if they did not pick up, mine's moved to something called no contact made. So when I'm talking about these things, y'all, I'm walking you through stages of a pipeline. It starts out as a new lead. Then if they don't pick up the phone, hey, not reached yet or no contact made. Then if they do respond, hey, we're making an offer, which ends up being, it only ends two ways. If you make an offer, they're either going to accept it or deny it, right? If they accept it, you're under contract stage. And then if they deny it, now you're in the cold lead follow-up stage, right? Hey, it's now a cold lead. I'm gonna follow up with them every 30 days. So when you ask yourself, hey, how often do I want to call a cold lead? Hey, every 30 days, once a month. Now, how often do I want to call a not reached yet? This is going to be your bucket that's going to be most full, right? Because you don't want anything sitting in your new lead stage. You want it in your no contact made, just in case they don't pick up the phone, or you want them in your made offer stage, right? Here's a simple way of understanding this, y'all. Build out your stages: new lead, no contact made or not reached yet, schedule follow-ups, cold lead follow-ups, follow up in 6 months, follow up in 12 months. And all you have to do is ask yourself, how many times do I want to follow up with this individual? And that's your answer to how many times you're going to call these people a day. Hey, for example, my no contact made section. Hey, I'm going to call, I have 50 leads right here. I'm going to call all of the sellers that did not pick up the phone, and I'm going to have one round per day because I'm only devoting 2 hours a day to this, right? So one round equals 3 calls in a row. So I'm going to call, hang up, call, hang up, call, and then hopefully they pick up by the third call. If they don't, hey, I'm going to make a task for tomorrow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to manage the lead management, right? So, and you're going to have the same flow. So ask yourself, hey, how often do I want to follow up with this lead? Always take notes on what happened on the previous call, even if they didn't pick up the phone. Any other tips on like lead management and like the pipeline and stuff like that?
I would say in this day and time, y'all, AIs are very, very, very helpful in what you do. And I'm a self-proclaimed AI person. Yeah, I won't say expert because I'm not there yet. But do you know that there are some AIs that while you're talking to a customer, There are some AIs that will absolutely record your call, transcribe it, and then tell you compliance or red flag words that would cause you not to have that seller say yes. There are AIs that can monitor your call that will tell you this is why you lost that sale. This is why you lost that deal, right? And some of those AIs, I wrote a couple of them down. It's CallMiner, CallMiner, Eureka.
I'll put them on the screen too.
Yeah, Observe.ai, Voice.ai. All of these AIs, as you're talking to the customer, you train that AI and you tell that AI what to look for. And it will absolutely tell you, okay, when you said this,
Yeah.
it caused them to, not say yes to you. Because most of the time and we're talking about lead management.
Yeah.
The reason why you have to call this customer 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 different times is because your first call sucked. If I can just say it that way and nobody be upset with me.
Or somebody else first call sucked, which regarded
Absolutely
this person not picking up the phone, which is why you probably can't reach them. Yep.
Right? So you want to, I used to teach people, whenever you're on the phone, the curtains are drawn back.
Yep.
And now you have to put on the show, but it's a show of authenticity. And it's also making sure you're not saying trigger words that will cause them. You cannot sound like the person that they just talked to. If you sound like the person that they just talked to, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. Whether it's good or bad, you don't want to sound like them. You want to carve your own lane. And you want to watch out for certain words that are trigger words that will cause them to say no. So these AIs will help. So even in lead management, I would have every call recorded. And have the AI to dictate, okay, what did I say? What did I should have said? Etc.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of AI, another thing you can do, y'all, you can literally map this out on your ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me all of the stages that act as my real estate wholesaling expert, and tell me all of the stages that a seller goes through when it comes down to a lead pipeline for a wholesaler. For example, new lead, no contact made, schedule follow-ups. Now you have your pipelines, right? It's a quick way, like we say chat, y'all, because it makes your job easy, right? The second thing you can do is, hey, can you now tell me how often I should follow up based on my schedule? I have 3 hours a day to make calls. Can you tell me how often I should follow up with each stage? Meaning, I call 3 times, y'all. If y'all want to get somebody to pick up the phone, the rule, y'all, is 3 times in a row. You call them 3 times in a row. By the third call, if they go off on you and say, "Hey, why are you calling me all this time?" Simple rebuttal. "Hey, I'm so sorry to call you so many times, man. Listen, our internet went out in the office, and I wasn't sure if the call was going through.
Yep.
But while I have you here, boom, and then you get into whatever you were going to say." Yep. So that's a simple way to come up with how often you should be following up, y'all. Yep. If you are not savvy with ChatGPT, y'all, really want you to get there, because this is where, when we talked about keeping up with where the world is going, you want to learn even if it's a basic level of it, y'all, learn it. Learn it, because you're only going to get better the more you do.
Only get better.
So now we have buyer relationships, y'all, because you want to understand that you don't want just buyer's list, meaning a list of buyers. You want buyer relationships.
Absolutely.
So, like I said earlier, a buyer is going to determine if you are if they're going to be your buyer or if they're just going to be a buyer, right? And you want to understand how to talk to a buyer. So the first thing I want you to do, I'm going to give you one source that's going to give you buyers, unlimited of them. affordablehousing.com. Simple as that. Here's what I want you to do. Make it your thing to make a call to a buyer. And I know some questions are going to come up hey, should I focus on sellers first or buyers first? Because if I get a buyer and then I go find a seller, you can do what you want to do. I find it more helpful that you have a seller in line, because when you have a good deal, we all know what the saying, a good deal sells itself, right? So you'll be able to find a buyer quickly when you have a good deal, all right? So here's what you want to understand, y'all. Now you know where to get the buyers from. Now, how do you talk to the buyer? when you're talking to a buyer, there's three things that you want to understand. The very first thing is understand them, meaning, man, how long have you been doing this? What do you do? Do you fix and flip or do you buy and hold? How long have you been doing that? Man, what got you into it? Right? These are the types of questions you ask, right? Because you never know, y'all. You will possibly have somebody that will literally just teach you stuff just because they like you.
Absolutely.
These are the type of connections that we build in real estate. The second thing you want to understand is how the buyer buys. What is their buy box? What is a buy box? Hey, where do you buy? What locations do you buy? Is that zip codes? Is that cities? Is there any areas that you don't buy in? Hey, what percentage of ARV do you buy at? When you ask them that, y'all, this is the discount that you're essentially going to need for the property. So some buyers buy at 75% minus repairs, minus your fee, right? Some buyers buy at 70%. And all this 70%, when you think about 100% and you take 30 away, the 30% is just to make sure that they're going to profit, right? That's, paying for closing costs, because you got to understand, when a buyer buys a property, 10% is already gone already. From when they have to buy the property, from closing costs and paying the seller's closing costs, to paying a realtor, to paying both sides of a realtor when they list it again. So that's 6%. Then we have, if there's anything like repairs, all of these things, y'all. So when you discount this property, y'all, the value that you bring is ensuring that they're going to profit. If you make sure that your buyers profit, y'all, you will never have to worry about money again, ever. Because if your buyers eat, you eat. Okay. Such a crazy way to say that, but yeah, it's the truth. So you want to understand, them. You want to understand their buy box, where they buy properties at, what percentage of ARV they buy at, or if they're in a rental market, hey, are you a 1% investor? Are you a 2% investor? Meaning, are you on the 1% of cash flow? Meaning, hey, if I have a $50,000 property right here, it has to at least rent for $500 for you to be able to buy it, et cetera, right? Understand them in their buy box. And then you want to understand what kind of cash buyer are they, all right? Every buyer, if you know anybody that buys property, y'all, or any business owner, they will tell you to use other people's money instead of your own, right? Because you can only scale so far with yours, but you can scale infinitely with other people's money, right? I'm not talking about funding or anything. I'm literally just talking about understanding that buyers are literally two things. They buy deals with two things: private money or hard money. All it is, y'all, is literally somebody lending them money at a cheaper rate than the bank would do it. And all they're doing is paying the lender every single month until they make them their money back.
That's right.
That's it. They're going to buy your deal with a hard money loan or a private money lender. And they can still, like, when you think about a loan, don't think about the bank. Oh, well, they're going to take, 3-4 months to close on the deal. No, they literally can close as soon as anywhere between a week to about 30 days, y'all.
Absolutely.
Literally a week to really 3 weeks. They can close as quickly as that, because they don't have to go through credit checks and all of these things. They literally have people that they work with.
Right.
So when you ask them, hey, let me ask you this: how are you funding your deals? Are you using your own cash? Are you using hard money loans? Or are you using a private money lender? Right? Private money, the difference between private money and hard money, just so you know, just so you're educated on it, private money lender is basically cheaper than a hard money lender. Private money lenders, a lot of them will make sure that you don't even have to put anything down, like a down payment. Hard money lenders, they want to see skin in the game, meaning you have to bring a down payment. So just because a hard money lender is cheaper than the bank doesn't mean that you don't have to bring any money down, right? So you got there. That's why, some buyers, they require them to put anywhere between 10 to 20% down, right? Private money loans, a lot of them, some of them do, a lot of them don't, though. You don't have to put any money down. They'll cover everything 100%, and all you got to do is just pay their points, right? And we'll break that down another
Point
time.
system, yeah.
So now that you understand this and how to talk to a buyer, you now understand that this is your buyer. If they like you and you build rapport with them, y'all, and you follow up with them consistently, and you now send them good deals, you understand how they buy, what they are buying. You even understand them. So now you know when you go out in the field and even people are sending you deals or you're going to go look for deals, you now know, oh, well, this buyer, this criteria will be really good for so and so. Oh, this buyer, this criteria for this seller would be really good for so and so. Now, this is the difference between you selling a deal in a day and literally in 30 days, or not selling a deal at all because you have no relationships. You want to build relationships. Now, I'll tell you this: if you're thinking about going to go do this before finding a seller, you absolutely can. But I'm telling you, there are some buyers so cool. If you just pick up the phone and build a relationship and make it your objective to literally get 3 buyers a day. It's so easy. Y'all, my assistant works 8 hours a day, y'all, and she calls buyers all day. She builds 30 cash buyer relationships a day. That's it. If you just make a calls for 30 minutes, you can get 5 buyers just like that. That's how easy it is to get buyers. Yeah. So you completely understand how to talk to buyers, y'all, because this is the most important thing. You want to have relationships, y'all, because I'll just tell you this: one real buyer will beat 100 emails all day. It will beat 100 calls that you could have or should have made all day. You could literally call one buyer and say, "Oh, I want it."
Right.
That's the relationship that you absolutely want to build.
Can we talk about maybe a system? Because I know Podio. Podio is a good system.
Yeah. It's like a CRM.
Yeah, it's like a CRM. But don't it have like predictive matches? Like it can, based upon your sales.
Talking about finding buyers.
Finding buyers. Yeah. Don't it have that metric in there?
So if you want a paid system, y'all, I typically use something, and it's very expensive, y'all. So if you want to use it, you absolutely can. It's called Investor Lift. Investor Lift is really good. I don't know how much they charge now, so I can't quote you that, but Investor Lift is really good. I typically would just say keep it simple.
Yeah.
For the people who literally just want to keep it very simple, you want to get buyers on hand, unlimited of them.
Yeah.
And keep it simple. And affordablehousing.com is the very simplest way to get buyers, y'all. I sold a deal above the usual percentage of what buyers buy on affordable housing.
Wow.
Literally. Wow. But yeah, that's just literally one way. But yeah, if you want the paid way, y'all, you can go. But I'm telling you, the free way is just
as good.
Yeah, it's just good. Like,
I was just thinking about that. It just came to mind. Yeah. I know that there's like certain systems and AIs that I'm just thinking about how someone can actually automate it, where it can, finding the buyer based upon your sales and predictive, it'll be able to kind of match your sale to the buyer. Things like that. If they're willing to pay that extra $1, but that free, I like free 99.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll say this too. When it comes down to like buyers and stuff like that, you want to understand that yes, they're the buyer. You're the wholesaler. You control the deal, okay? You control the deal. So don't let buyers lowball you on your deal.
Man.
Here's a simple rule of thumb. When you get a deal under contract, y'all, all you simply want to do is go make sure you collect 3 offers before accepting a offer. Now, if they come in at your price that you're marketing at, y'all, then what you can do is you can accept it if you want, right? But I always say rule of thumb, just like you wouldn't just go buy the first car that you see on the car lot and you want to test out at least 2 or 3 of them or test it out a couple of times. The same thing that I would say for buyers. If you get an offer that's below where you want it to be, 2 sides to this. I'm gonna break down the other side. If you get an offer below where you want it to be, simply what you can do is just say, hey, I appreciate the offer. I'm going to take this as a backup offer. And if, this offer, essentially, or here's 2 things. So you can accept it as a backup offer, meaning like, hey, it's way lower than you expected. Or you can tell the buyer, hey, I have your offer. We're making a decision by. And now you give them a deadline and you put yourself on a deadline to where, hey, your other buyers you're marketing to, hey, Mr. Buyer, we're making a decision by Friday. So if you can get me your offer in by that time, now it's like you're controlling the deal and you're controlling the urgency and how fast this deal gets sold.
Right.
Now, here's the other part to this. There are certain things that we just cannot see as wholesalers, right? For instance, I sold a deal in New Mexico, y'all, and I had no idea that people do real estate in New Mexico or like just wholesaling. So I sold a deal there, and from the deal, y'all, I got this deal in the contract probably about like 100,000, and I was going to sell it for like my number said that I could sell it for about $140,000, right? Property was pretty nice too. Properties in the area was nice. This one needed work. I could not see that this area was something they called a red zone or something like that. And there was a whole bunch of homeless people around there. But even though homes were going for up to 250, 300,000, that part of the area I was in was literally called a red zone, right? I'm not sure if I'm using the right placement for that. But
It's right, because that's what cities do. They have certain
red
zones.
Yeah, red zone. So it was a red zone area. And we end up literally having to discount this property even more to sell it at 100,000. So we end up selling it at 100,000 and getting it reduced to 70,000. But like the feedback that I just got from buyers, where they start always saying the same thing. Hey, this is a bad part of the neighborhood. Hey, I'm willing to buy it at 70,000, 80,000. And we luckily had a buyer that was willing to come up to 100,000. Usually buyers in that area bought for 60 to 70, 80,000.
Wow.
And it's something we just couldn't see. Only the feedback from the market told us that, hey, the seller didn't tell us, right? But the buyers did.
Yes.
So now we have no choice but like to take what we have. So long story short, y'all, what I'm getting at is if you get an offer lower than where you expected, something is better than nothing. So accept it, especially if you're close on the deadline that you need to meet for the seller. Just be grateful is all I'm saying.
Yeah. And especially if you got 3 offers and they're all low.
Yeah.
Best
one.
Yeah, you know something is off about that side of town or something like that.
Absolutely.
Hey, take that offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something you can do. Somebody's probably going to ask, hey, what if the offer comes in lower than my contract price? Now it's time for you to get into your sales bag.
Yeah.
Have an honest conversation with the seller.
Yes.
Hey, I was not aware that your property needed this, and this.
Yeah.
Or it was in a red zone, which we had a hard conversation. He was a little bit upset, but he was like, you didn't tell us this. If we would have known, or, we would have knew.
Yes.
So this is where we go back and get a price reduction. You can easily go back and do that just by having the conversation and giving them the feedback that your buyers gave you.
Right.
Okay. All right. So when it comes down to that, y'all, you now understand all of these things. All right. The next thing here is selling the deal. All right. So what happens after you get a contract, a deal under contract? You're now going to go pull a list from affordablehousing.com, right? You're going to get an assignment agreement. Type one up on ChatGPT, y'all. Very, very simple. Or y'all, what you can do is attend a masterclass that I have going on. I have one that's going on every Thursday, y'all, that I do where I teach wholesalers how to essentially scale their business and do either their first or next deal that you can attend. So if you want to attend that, y'all, Thursdays when they host it, when I host it, and you can definitely come through. All right. So I'll give you an assignment agreement. Very simple. So you want to essentially go pull a little buyer's list, have the conversation I told you, build a rapport with your buyers, see their buy box. And then what you want to do is pitch your deal to them. Hey, I have a deal in this area, and you're going to put it on a Google Doc with one picture, with pictures of it, with the asking price of it, the address, and all of the condition details. And you're going to ask them, hey, are you available to go see this property? So now comes you selling this deal and going to go sell it, because you need to understand, like, all right, I am the wholesaler, and now what I have to do is literally go sell this deal to this buyer. So if you go sell this deal by setting up them to go see the deal, you can absolutely go sell it and sell it for the best price as possible. And remember the things that we told you. So affordable housing, you have the assignment agreement, you get them to sign the assignment agreement. Now here's something I want to talk to you about. Title companies or attorney states. All right. You can simply look this up. Hey, am I in a title state or an attorney state? Look it up on Google. It'll tell you based on the state that you're doing business in. All right. All you're going to do is literally go find a title company now, y'all, or a real estate attorney. Ask them, are they wholesale friendly? Right. Ask them, hey, how fast can you close? Ask them, do they do assignments? Meaning, do they do, wholesale friendly deals, assignment deals? And then also ask them, do they do, this is like a tip from my pros right here. Ask them, do they do blind HUDs? Simply what this means is every time you go to the store and you buy something, you get a receipt for it, right? A HUD is a receipt for the transaction.
Right.
When you get ready to close on the deal, a lot of the time, some wholesalers don't want sellers to know what they're making on a deal. Because, hey, if you're making $40,000 and let's just say your seller is like, hey, I want some of that, right? Or, then this is why we use blind HUDs, right? That's just something for some advanced information for you. Not a lot of people know about that, but use blind HUDs, y'all. If they don't have one, y'all, it's totally fine. 9 times out of 10, the seller does not trip because you're solving their problem.
Yeah.
All right. So you now understand that, y'all. All right. So when you want to understand this too, normalize failure. The more that you fail and the faster that you fail, the better that you will be. Okay. It's okay if the buyer backs out because we keep their EMD, their earnest money deposit. You always collect the earnest money deposit. It's okay if a seller changes their mind. You heard about my student earlier, my Asia. Her deal fell out and she had deals there, y'all. And it's okay. Sellers change their minds. They go through things. They have problems, y'all. It's okay. Typically, reasons why deals fall apart, y'all, is simply this. Wholesalers get a contract signed. And what happens here is that they don't follow up enough. And if you leave space and opportunity for your competition to get to know, like, and trust you better than you did, then what happens here is that they end up ghosting you and going with somebody else. If you don't touch base with them weekly, y'all, and you leave them in doubt and in question and ghosting them, basically you ghosted first. This is why, we say, hey, this is why that the what we call rookie mode, right? This is why most people get deals to fall out on them is because they're in rookie mode. The next thing to understand is you must make sure that you move quick, okay, and efficiently. When you get a deal, do not sit on it. Don't don't avoid the seller. Don't do this. Don't avoid calling buyers. Don't avoid doing the work. Long story short, right? And then when you do make a mistake, y'all, always learn from it and recover fast. It's all you have to do. Deals falling apart, y'all, is literally it's okay. It's the tuition of you doing this. It's not failure though. Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
No, that was that. I think that's perfect what you're saying. You said it eloquent.
All right. Coming to an end here, y'all. I have 2 more things for you. So timelines and realistic expectations, y'all. So how long can a first deal really take? A first deal can take anywhere between a week. I've had people do deals in a day, in a week. They've done it in 30 days. How long does it take for you to get a contract? You must be consistent. I will tell you this. I'm going to give you this, y'all. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you this. This is something called my Conversations to Closings calendar. I've never given this away.
Man, you have not never given it.
So I'm going to give you my Conversations to Closings calendar, y'all. And you absolutely want to use this. And I'm going to actually put this on the screen too. So if you do these things, for 365 days, 2 hours a day out of your day, no 8-hour shifts, none of that. If you do this consistently, though, some people say, oh, I did 2 hours. I'm going to skip this day, this day, this day. I'm going to do 2 hours. That's not consistency. Consistency can look like 2 hours, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, et cetera, right? That's consistency, but you not doing anything, that's not consistency, right? So let me give you this conversations to closings calendar, y'all, because I want to make sure that you do these things for just 2 hours a day, all right? So every single day you want to do this, and I'm going to break it down from this aspect. So let's just start from the month. Every month, you want to make $2,000 minimum. Sounds like a lot.
No, it isn't.
It's not at all.
At all. We should make 10,000.
You want to have anywhere between 150 to 200 conversations a month, 12 to 20 offers a month, which means that worst case, best case, if you're working 20 working days, 5 days a week, y'all, you're making an offer a day out of 5 working days.
Yeah.
Worst case, you're making literally an offer every other day, right? For pipeline reviews, remember when we talked about lead management? You want to make sure that you absolutely review your pipeline every single week, okay? Hey, what happened in this stage? Why did this lead fall out? Am I following up enough? Am I making my round of calls every single day, right? And then 40 follow-ups. All of the calls that you make to these leads, y'all, and the dials that you make, it's going to result in you doing a follow-up.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you a question real quick. Now, yes, I'm asking it to you right now. You answer it honestly. Does that sound hard to you? If you are the person that says yes, let me make it easier for you now. Do you think that you could make $500 in a week, a week's time? If you're saying yes, let me ask you this. Do you think that you can make 3 to 5 offers a week? Do you think that you can review your pipeline once a week? 30 minutes, that's all it takes. Do you think that you can do 10 follow-ups? If you said yes to anything that I just said, y'all, you can have 40 to 50 conversations a week. And if you focus, this is something I tell my mentees, y'all. If you focus on having at least 1 to 2, 3, as many as you want, but 1 to 2 quality conversations a day, you can get a contract every single month. You can get multiple contracts a month. You can do multiple deals because it's not about having just random conversations. It's about having quality conversations. How do you have a quality conversation? We talked about it earlier. Listen.
Yes.
Listen instead of pitching.
Yes.
Simple as I can put it. Now, does that still sound hard to you? For every week, you make $500. You have 40 to 50 conversations. You make 3 to 5 offers per week. You have 1 pipeline review and you have 10 follow-ups. Does that still sound hard to you? A little bit, so, probably. All right, let me break it down even easier for you. Let me ask you this.
I love it.
Every single day, do you think that if you had 2 hours a day, could you make at least 100 dials? Meaning like, boom, that's 1 dial. Boom, this is 2 dials. Boom, this is 3 dials. 3 dials per person. If you dial 10 people, y'all, and y'all are dialing 3 times, that's 30 people. I mean, that's 30 dials already. Do you think that you simply can have, I'm going to just keep it very minimal for you, y'all. Do you think that you can have 3 to 4 conversations a day? How many conversations on average do you have per day? 2. Right?
Just really?
Yeah.
In the industry that most of my mentees are in, you're looking at anywhere between, I would say maybe 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Yeah, solid conversations.
Yeah.
Not just passerbys, what we like to call passerbys. Not passerby conversations, but solid quality conversations by 10 to 12.
Yeah. Simple as this, y'all. Let me just ask you this. If you spend your time having conversations that don't mean anything, and wasting time that we don't have already, right? Because every day is not promised. Why can't you have more than 3 to 4 conversations a day? Why can't you have the 10 to 12? Because that's what's here, 10 to 12 conversations a day. And it don't have to be an hour-long conversation. It can be 10 to 15 minutes. We do that every day. In fact, I probably had 30 conversations a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking about conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Do you feel like that's more doable for you? Can you at minimum have 3 to 4 conversations with a seller a day? If you can do that, you can do this. Can you make 1 offer a day? Just 1 every day. If you feel like you can do that, you can do 2 follow-ups a day. Because every day you make an offer, you make 5 offers in a week, you got to follow up with all of those. So you can do 2 in a day.
That's right.
2 times 5 is 10.
Yeah.
Every week we have 10 follow-ups right here. So if you were once saying, man, I don't know, it seems a lot easier, doesn't it? All right, cool. Congratulations, y'all. In the description, you can click the link. And actually, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna have the team put it on the screen. Scan the QR code. You can get my conversations to closings calendar, y'all. And like, you're not gonna find that anywhere else. So make sure that you get it. And yeah. Other than that, I really hope that they enjoyed this long of a masterclass. Wholesaling.
That was game given on the level. You gave some things, some industry tips, man, that most people don't want them to know at the beginning stage. You know what I'm saying? You gave some game.
Absolutely.
So, yes, sir.
Absolutely. So long story short, y'all, you're probably have a lot of questions, a lot going through your brain. You have a lot of notes, whatever the case may be, y'all. Listen, if you want to tap in with me, y'all, Instagram, Lacedrick Brantley, YouTube name. Of course, you can tap the description or you can scan one of the codes that we put up, y'all, and you can attend one of my masterclasses. And otherwise, y'all, go ahead and come to a masterclass so you can get the game, y'all, of real estate wholesaling, because I'm telling you, it's going to be something that's beneficial, not only for you, but for generations after you, y'all. So I'm glad that you attended this podcast. Do me a favor, comment under this podcast, what was the best part for you and what you resonated with? What's something that you learned? And like and subscribe, y'all, because we have about 75% of people who watch this podcast, y'all, are not subscribed. So go ahead and subscribe. And likewise, I'll see you later. All right, let's go.